She had just given birth. Her husband's 12-year-old daughter rushed in, pale, trembling, and said, "You have to hide. They want to hurt you and the baby." What began as the happiest day of her life turned into a terrifying fight for survival against her husband's own family. What would you do if the people closest to you were the threat? The steady beep of the heart monitor echoed through the cold, sterile hospital room. I, Sophie Miller, was utterly exhausted after 18 hours of labor. But all that exhaustion melted away the moment I looked down at the tiny angel sleeping peacefully in my arms, our newborn daughter, just a few hours old. The door creaked open. Daniel had stepped out to call our families. I expected him back. But it wasn't Daniel. It was Isla, my husband's 12-year-old daughter. Her face was pale. Her wide, blue eyes were filled with an unmistakable terror. "Isla? Sweetheart, what's wrong?" She glanced nervously down the hallway, then slammed the door shut behind her. Her breathing was fast, shallow. She rushed to my bedside, leaned in close, and whispered, her voice trembling, "Mom, they're looking for you. You have to hide, right now." A chill ran down my spine. "Who, Isla? Who's looking for me?" "Aunt Olivia and the red-haired nurse," she cried. "I overheard them talking. They want to hurt you and the baby." My heart stopped. I looked down at my newborn, then back at Isla, trying to process what she had just said. Olivia, Daniel's sister, the woman who had never truly accepted me, and a nurse from this hospital? "Are you sure, Isla? Did you hear exactly what they said?" "I'm sure." Tears streamed down Isla's face. Aunt Olivia said, "It has to end today." And the nurse promised to take care of everything before Dad gets back. "I'm so scared, Mom." Isla had never lied to me. Since the moment I entered Daniel's life, she had been open, honest, and full of heart. But this sounded insane. Still, the sheer panic in Isla's eyes wasn't something a child could fake. Before I could even respond, there was a knock at the door. We both jumped. The door swung open, and there she was, the red-haired nurse, Harper, the same one who had been attending to me since I was admitted. "Good evening, Mrs. Miller," Harper said cheerily, holding up a syringe. "Time for your pain meds, and a little something to help you sleep after such a long, exhausting day." My eyes locked with Isla's. The terror in her expression said everything. I tightened my grip around Isla's small hand, feeling my pulse hammer in my ears. "Actually," I said, swallowing hard, trying to stay calm, "and I'm feeling a lot better. I don't think I need anything right now." Harper's smile didn't waver, but something flickered behind her eyes. "Oh, but it's already prescribed, Mrs. Miller. We wouldn't want that pain sneaking up on you in the middle of the night, would we?" She stepped closer, needle ready. My heart raced. Suddenly, Isla stepped forward, planting herself firmly between me and Harper, her voice strong and clear. "My dad is looking for Dr. Brooks. He wants to double-check all of Mom's medications before anything gets administered." Harper froze. Her eyes darted between us. "Really? That's not in the chart." "Yes," I said quickly, grabbing onto Isla's lie like a lifeline. "My husband is very concerned. He insisted the doctor approve everything first." Harper hesitated. Then, with a tight-lipped smile that didn't quite reach her eyes, she said, "Well, I'll come back once Dr. Brooks gives the okay." The door closed behind her with a click. I exhaled, deep, shaky, but the relief was fleeting. "Isla," I whispered urgently, "how much time do we have before your dad comes back?" "I don't know. He's talking to Aunt Olivia in the main lobby." Olivia. Here. Now I looked down at my newborn, then back at Isla, and for the first time since labor began, pure terror gripped my mind. "We have to get out of here," I said, my voice steady, but my heart hammering. "Right now." Can you even imagine what that moment felt like? fresh from giving birth, at a time when I should have been resting, healing. Instead, I was facing a threat from my own family. If you were in my shoes, what would you have done? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear how you would react. Isla tightened her grip on my hand, her 12-year-old face fierce with determination beyond her years. I'll protect you and the baby, Mom. I promise. Looking into her brave, wide eyes, I knew our survival depended on trusting each other completely. The night was just beginning, and neither of us knew if we'd live to see the morning. If you want to find out how we escaped the danger lurking within those hospital walls, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss what happens next. While Isla peeked cautiously into the hallway to make sure no one was approaching, my mind raced back to the past. 2 years ago, when I met Daniel Carter at an art exhibit downtown, our eyes met across the crowded room, and in that moment, everything else seemed to fade away. I never believed in love at first sight until that day. Mom, I think we should change clothes, Isla whispered, pulling me back into the terrifying present. If they're looking for you, they'll recognize you in your hospital gown. I nodded, touched by the incredible composure and cleverness radiating from this 12-year-old girl. She truly was Daniel's daughter, steady under pressure. Daniel. He should have been back by now. What was keeping him? Or had Olivia? No, I couldn't allow my mind to go there. As I struggled to sit up, pain from the labor seared through my body. I bit my lip to keep from crying out. The baby stirred in my arms, but thankfully did not wake. Daniel and I had only been dating for 3 months when he introduced me to Isla and the family. I whispered to Isla as she rummaged through the closet for clothes. Do you remember that day? Isla smiled softly. I remember you brought me the dinosaur puzzle set. I thought, what did Dad tell her? Because that was the one I'd been wanting forever. Your dad didn't tell me anything. I chuckled quietly at the memory. I spent 3 hours at the toy store searching for the perfect gift. I was so nervous. I pulled Daniel's sweater, the one he had dropped off earlier, over my head. As I did, memories of my first meeting with Olivia, Daniel's sister, flooded back. From the very first moment, Olivia's cold, piercing stare had stripped me bare. Sophie, she had said, her voice colder than ice, my brother has said a lot about you. I knew, then and there, that Olivia would be a problem. She had never accepted me, not from the beginning, and certainly not now. After Daniel's messy divorce, Olivia had stepped into a caretaker role for both him and Isla, and it was clear she wasn't ready to let that go. I always knew Aunt Olivia didn't like you, Isla said quietly, helping me pull the sweater on. She used to say mean things about you when Dad wasn't around. My heart tightened. I know, sweetheart, I said softly, but I never imagined she'd go this far. I remembered the night Daniel proposed, a perfect evening at our favorite restaurant. He knelt down, offering a small diamond ring, asking if I would become his wife and Isla's stepmother. I had burst into tears of joy, but that happiness was shattered the moment we got home, when we found Olivia waiting, her face pale with rage. You can't be serious, Daniel, she screamed. She's just after your money. She'll never love Isla like her own. I had tried so hard to prove her wrong. I attended every piano recital, every basketball game. I helped with homework, braided Isla's hair, listened to every school day story. And slowly, Isla opened her heart to me. But Olivia's anger never softened. Do you remember your wedding day? Isla asked, helping me slip into my shoes. I nodded, smiling sadly. Olivia had refused to be a bridesmaid, instead standing stiffly at the very back, watching with icy disdain. 6 months after the wedding, I discovered I was pregnant. Daniel was overjoyed. Isla, at first hesitant, grew excited about becoming a big sister. Only Olivia was furious. "Now! She'll have her own child!" I overheard her hiss into the phone. "Isla will be pushed aside. My brother's fortune will go to the new baby." But I never cared about Daniel's money. He earned a good living as an engineer. But we lived modestly, never lavishly. It was Olivia who seemed obsessed with the idea of me as a gold digger. "Are you ready, Isla?" I asked, cradling my newborn closer to my chest. Isla nodded firmly. "Where should we go, Mom?" I thought fast. We couldn't risk the main exit. Too many people might recognize us, and we couldn't trust anyone in this hospital anymore. "We need to find Dr. Brooks," I decided. "Isla, do you know where his office is?" "4th floor, Section B," she answered immediately. "I saw it this morning when I was looking for the bathroom." Once again, I marveled at Isla's sharp observation. "Good girl, Isla. We'll head there. But first, check the hallway." Isla cracked the door open, then nodded. "No one's there. But Mom, there's something I didn't tell you." My heart skipped. "What is it, sweetie?" When I overheard Aunt Olivia and the nurse talking, Isla whispered, voice shaking. Aunt Olivia said something that scared me so much. She said, "Has Sophie signed her will yet? If both she and the baby don't make it, everything goes to Daniel, and we can sort it out later." A cold chill washed over me. This wasn't just about me. Olivia wanted my baby gone too. I squeezed Isla's hand tightly. "I promise, Isla, I'll protect you and the baby. We're getting out of here. I won't let anyone hurt our family." Isla threw her arms around me carefully, mindful of the infant in my arms. "I love you, Mom. I know you're not my real mom, but I love you so, so much." Tears filled my eyes. In the midst of all this chaos, Isla's words were the only light, piercing through the darkness. "Are you ready?" I asked, my voice steady now. Isla nodded, opening the door a little wider. "Let's go," I whispered. We stepped into the hallway, my heart pounding, my newborn tucked safely in my arms. Are you as amazed as I am by Isla's courage and sharp instincts? A 12-year-old girl standing tall in the face of danger. Drop a comment below and tell me what you think about our bond. But there's no time to dwell. We needed to move fast before Olivia and her accomplice realized their plan had been discovered. Would we find Dr. Brooks in time? And where was Daniel? Why hadn't he come back? Don't miss the next part of our story. Hit subscribe and ring the bell right now so you won't miss a single moment of this gripping escape. The hospital corridors were dark and eerily silent. The squeak of Isla's sneakers and my own ragged breathing echoed too loudly through the empty hallways. Every step was a battle. My body ached, drained from childbirth, but fear and the primal instinct to protect my baby pushed me forward. "Mom," Isla whispered, steadying me against the wall. "Did you notice anything weird about Nurse Harper since you got here?" I frowned, trying to remember. Harper, the red-haired nurse with the ever-present smile, had been assigned to me the moment I was admitted. And now, looking back, she was too attentive, I murmured, the realization hitting me as I spoke. Always hovering, always asking about our family, about Daniel, about his work. "I saw her checking your phone," Isla said, her voice low. "Whenever you went to the bathroom, she'd sneak peeks at it." My stomach twisted. I had never noticed, but now it made terrifying sense. I remembered how Harper always seemed to appear whenever Daniel stepped out, how she lingered longer than necessary, how she scribbled notes constantly, about me, about Daniel. "And another thing," Isla continued as we turned into a quieter wing. "I saw her and Aunt Olivia talking in the pharmacy room yesterday. They seemed really close." I froze. I knew Olivia hated me, but her knowing Harper, that couldn't be coincidence. You think they knew each other before? Isla nodded firmly. I'm sure. Olivia called her Dear Harper, and they acted like old friends. Another piece slid into place. I remembered Olivia's random hospital visits, claiming she was just there to check on things. Now, I saw the truth. Remember, Isla added, how Harper always brought your meds and said stuff like, here's a special medicine for a special mom, and smiled really weird? I shivered, nodding. I thought it was just her way of being cheerful, I said quietly. But she always stayed, watching until I swallowed every pill. And afterward, you always got super sleepy, Isla said, wide-eyed. Yeah, I admitted, a chill running through me. I thought it was normal, but maybe it wasn't. We paused at a corner, checking the hallway ahead. It was after 9 p.m. The hospital felt abandoned. Only the dim lights from the nurses' stations and the distant beeping of machines remained. Remember yesterday when Aunt Olivia brought flowers? Isla whispered. I nodded. Olivia had brought an enormous bouquet and stayed for an unusually long time, chatting with nurses, wandering the halls like she owned the place. She went into the pharmacy room with Harper, Isla said, and they stayed in there a long time. I walked by and I heard them talking about getting the dosage right and leaving no traces. My blood froze. It wasn't a coincidence. And ... Isla's voice dropped even lower. I saw Aunt Olivia hand Harper an envelope. Harper stuffed it into her pocket really fast, like she didn't want anyone to see. My head spun. Had I missed all these signs? A horrifying memory surfaced. This morning, I whispered, when I was in labor, Harper tried to get Daniel to leave the room. She said it was a new hospital policy, but Dr. Brooks stepped in and said there was no such policy. And Aunt Olivia was furious when she found out Dad stayed, Isla said. I heard her on the phone saying the plan had to change because he wouldn't leave her side. We locked eyes, realizing all these scattered clues now formed a terrifying picture. Did Harper ever say anything about the baby? Isla asked as we crept forward. I racked my brain. She asked a lot of weird questions, I said slowly, about whether we had the nursery ready, if we had life insurance, and... I stopped, horrified as the memory hit me. She asked if we'd written a will yet. My voice trembled. She said it was standard for new parents. Isla squeezed my hand hard. No nurse asks about a will, Mom. I nodded, heart pounding. And every time she came in, she'd ask, where's Daniel? Or is your husband around? Like she needed to know exactly when I was alone. I remembered waking up one night, seeing Harper standing by my bed, not touching me, not checking machines, just watching. When I asked what she was doing, she claimed she was checking vitals. But she never touched a thing. Mom? Isla suddenly gasped, pulling me into a dark supply closet. I hear Aunt Olivia's voice. We pressed ourselves into the shadows. From the hallway, Olivia's icy voice floated toward us. Make sure it's all taken care of tonight, she said. We're out of time. We're out of time. She's already given birth. The paperwork's ready. What about Daniel? A man's voice asked. My brother will grieve, of course, Olivia said, her tone cruel and cold. Severe postpartum depression, a desperate mother. These things happen, and I'll be there to help him recover. I clamped my hand over my mouth to keep from screaming. They didn't just want to kill me. They wanted to stage it, make it look like a tragic suicide. Harper's handled everything, Olivia continued. She's been spiking Sophie's drinks all day. By the time it's over, she'll have all the signs of a mother suffering from severe hormonal imbalance. No one will question it. Their footsteps faded. But I stood there, shaking uncontrollably. Isla clung to me, tears streaming down her cheeks. She's so evil, Isla whispered. How could she do this to you and the baby? Because of money, I choked out. Because if I'm gone, everything passes to Daniel, and Olivia can control it. We have to find Dr. Brooks, Isla said fiercely, the courage in her voice astonishing for a 12-year-old. He's the only one who doesn't trust Harper. He can help us." "How do we know he's not part of this too?" I asked, fear thick in my throat. "Because I saw him argue with Harper this morning," Isla explained. "Harper wanted to inject you with something, and Dr. Brooks stopped her. He said, 'I didn't authorize that.' They didn't know I was listening." A spark of hope flickered inside me. I clutched my newborn tighter, took a deep breath, and nodded. "All right, Isla. We'll find Dr. Brooks. But we have to be careful. We don't know who else might be involved." As we prepared to move, the baby in my arms began to stir, letting out a soft, whimpering cry. I rocked her gently, heart hammering. "Shh, baby girl," I whispered. "I know you're hungry, but we have to stay quiet right now. I promise, Mommy will feed you soon." Isla checked the hallway. "It's clear, Mom. We have to move, now." As we slipped back into the dark corridor, my thoughts turned to Daniel. Where was he? Was he truly being delayed in some fake meeting? Or worse? Number I couldn't let doubt creep in. He loved me. He would never be part of something like this. Have you ever ignored red flags in life only to realize later how critical they were? Share your stories in the comments. I would love to hear them. As we moved deeper into the labyrinth of the hospital, I knew every corner could be a trap. Every shadow could hide a threat. Would we find Dr. Brooks in time? And if we did, would he truly help us? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you won't miss what happens next. In the next part, I'll reveal what Isla overheard when she stumbled upon another conversation between Olivia and Harper. See you in the next episode. The hospital at night felt like a haunted labyrinth. Long, endless hallways, artificial lights casting eerie shadows on the walls. Every little sound, the distant squeak of a gurney, the clack of a nurse's shoes, the beep of a monitor, made my heart pound painfully. "Mom, this way," Isla whispered, tugging at my arm toward the emergency stairwell. "They'll check the elevators first." I nodded, exhausted but too terrified to stop. The baby in my arms slept peacefully, but I knew it wouldn't be long before she woke, hungry and crying. We needed to find Dr. Brooks, and fast. "Isla, tell me exactly what you heard between Aunt Olivia and Harper," I asked, as we started climbing the stairs to the 4th floor. Isla paused, guilt flashing across her face. "I didn't tell you everything before. I was afraid you'd be too scared." My heart clenched. "I need to know, sweetheart. It's the only way we can protect ourselves." She drew a deep breath. "Yesterday, after you fell asleep post-labor, I went to get a drink. I passed by the pharmacy room. The door was slightly open. I could hear them talking." Isla looked down at her feet, focusing hard to recall. "Olivia said, 'We need to deal with her before it's too late. Once the baby's born, Daniel will put them both in the will. I'll lose everything.'" Exactly what I had feared. It was all about the money. Daniel wasn't just a successful engineer. He had inherited a significant fortune after his parents passed. Olivia had always resented that. Then Harper said, "Don't worry, we have a plan. It'll look like a normal postpartum complication." Isla stopped, tears welling up. But the worst part, Harper said they had to take care of the baby too. Olivia said she didn't care, as long as there were no ties left. I pulled Isla into a hug, horror twisting inside me. They didn't just want me gone. They wanted to destroy my memory, to frame me as a mother who had hurt her child. "Anything else, honey?" I asked, my voice shaking. Isla wiped her tears. "They talked about a drug Harper's been slipping into your drinks to cause depression symptoms, confusion. They plan to up the dosage tonight." She hesitated, "and they bribed a psychiatrist to declare you mentally unstable." "But not Dr. Brooks," I said, clinging to hope. "No," Isla confirmed. "They said Dr. Brooks was a problem, too careful. We kept climbing, each step a monumental effort. My body begged for rest, but there was no time. "Did you hear anything about your dad?" I asked, terrified for Daniel. "They said they'd keep him busy all night. Olivia hired someone to pose as a psychiatrist to convince him you were showing warning signs." Nausea twisted my stomach. They had thought of everything. "Anything else?" I asked as we neared the 3rd floor. Isla nodded. "Something weird. Olivia got a text and looked furious. She said, 'Brooks is getting suspicious. Someone tipped him off?' Someone else knew. Someone tried to warn him?" Reaching the 4th floor, pain shot through my lower abdomen, a brutal reminder my body hadn't recovered yet. I leaned against the wall, gasping. "Mom!" Isla looked alarmed. "You need to rest." "No time," I whispered. "Where's Dr. Brooks' office?" "End of the hall, right side," Isla pointed, "but I don't know if he's still there this late." I forced myself to move, each step agony. The baby stirred, letting out a soft whimper. She was waking. We peeked out the stairwell door, empty hallway. Only one nurse sat at the station, absorbed in her computer. "Look, Mom," Isla whispered, pointing down the hall. A light still on inside an office. The sign clear. Dr. Ethan Brooks, MD, Obstetrics. A flicker of hope, but how to reach it without being seen. Just then, the nurse's phone rang. She answered and hurried off toward the elevators. "Now," I whispered. "Go!" We scurried along the wall, reaching the office door. Inside, we heard voices, one male, one female. "Can't prove it yet, but I know something's off," a deep voice said. "Her records show no history of depression or instability." "But Harper said," the woman began. "Harper isn't a doctor," he interrupted sharply. "And I don't trust her. Too many inconsistencies, unauthorized meds, attempts to isolate the patient." I took a deep breath and knocked. Silence. "Who is it?" Dr. Brooks's cautious voice called. "Dr. Brooks," I said, voice trembling. "It's Sophie Miller. I need help." The door swung open. Dr. Brooks, tall, salt and pepper hair, early 50s, stared at us in shock. Behind him stood a young nurse I didn't recognize. "Mrs. Miller, what on earth? You should be in bed." "They're trying to kill me," I blurted. "Olivia and Nurse Harper. They're trying to kill me and my baby." Dr. Brooks's eyes widened, then hardened. "Come in, quick." He ushered us inside and locked the door. I knew something was wrong, he said, helping me into a chair. The young nurse, Lisa, according to her badge, handed me a glass of water. "I'll check the hallway," Lisa whispered and slipped out. Isla overheard them plotting, I explained, struggling to stay calm. "They're staging it to look like postpartum depression. They even bought off a psychiatrist." Dr. Brooks's face darkened. "I suspected Harper. She's been off, sneaking meds into your chart, insisting on isolating you." "You have to believe us," Isla cried. "Olivia wants the inheritance. She hates Mom." Dr. Brooks looked between us, then nodded. "I believe you. Actually, I started suspecting days ago. Your name popped up on my patient list only 2 weeks ago. Strange timing. And Harper was suddenly assigned to you." "Olivia talked me into switching hospitals," I admitted. "And Harper moved departments," he continued. "I caught her slipping something into your drink this morning. I collected a sample." I gasped. "You've been suspicious this whole time?" Dr. Brooks nodded grimly. "And then, this morning, I received an anonymous text." He handed me his phone. A message read, "Check Sophie Miller's meds. Harper is dangerous. Watch out for Olivia Carter." Who sent it? "No idea," he said, but it pushed me to dig deeper. I even reviewed security footage. Olivia and Harper meeting privately, and Harper tampering with your trays. Just then, Lisa burst back into the office, face pale. "They're searching everywhere," she said urgently. "Olivia told security that a dangerous patient abducted her baby and another child." My heart pounded wildly. They were setting me up. "We need to call Daniel," I cried. "I tried," Dr. Brooks said. "He's locked in a fake psych evaluation. They're buying time." "What do we do now?" I whispered, feeling crushed. Dr. Brooks thought quickly. "I have a plan, but it will be risky." At that moment, my baby stirred and began to wail, sharp and desperate. "Mom, she's hungry," Isla said. I nodded, beginning to nurse her, rocking gently. While comforting my newborn, I looked up at Dr. Brooks, newfound steel in my spine. "What's the plan?" "I'll do anything to protect my daughters." It hit me then. I had called Isla my daughter, not stepdaughter, not Daniel's child, just mine. In that terrifying moment, the line between blood and bond vanished. Have you ever experienced family bonds forged through hardship? Share your stories in the comments below. Dr. Brooks's gaze hardened with resolve. Here's what we're going to do. The story continues with the dangerous escape plan. Will we outwit Olivia and Harper? How will Daniel react when he discovers his sister's betrayal? Subscribe and hit the notification bell. You won't want to miss the next explosive part of this true nightmare. Dr. Brooks's plan sounded crazy, but we had no other choice. His office was no longer safe. It was only a matter of time before Olivia and her accomplices found us. "Sophie, you'll have to trust me," Dr. Brooks said as he pulled a backup phone from his drawer. "Save my number. If we get separated, text me immediately." My hands trembled as I entered his number. Suddenly, a message from an unknown number popped up on my screen. "Don't trust Harper. Don't take any medication today. Someone is plotting against you. Stay away from Olivia." I showed the phone to Dr. Brooks. "Did you send this?" He shook his head, looking just as surprised. "Not me, but clearly someone knows what's going on." Isla peered over my shoulder, eyes wide. "Someone's helping us," she whispered, her voice filled with hope. Lisa, the young nurse, peeked through the hallway. "They're getting closer. I just saw Harper talking to security at the end of the corridor." Dr. Brooks quickly grabbed a folder from his desk. "This is the evidence I've collected. Security footage, lab results from your drink samples. We have to get it to the police." "But how are we going to escape?" I asked, clutching my sleeping newborn tightly. "They're monitoring all exits." "Through the basement," Lisa suggested. "I know a service tunnel that connects to the back parking lot." Dr. Brooks nodded. "All right, we'll split up. Lisa, you take Sophie and the kids through the basement. I'll create a diversion and meet you out back in 15 minutes. Suddenly, my phone vibrated. A call from Daniel. My heart pounded as I answered. "Sophie, where are you?" His voice was thick with worry. "Security said you left the room with Isla and the baby." "Daniel, listen carefully," I said, holding back tears. "Olivia is trying to kill me and our daughter. Harper's involved. They've been drugging me and planning to make it look like postpartum depression." There was a long pause. "Sophie, I don't understand. I just spoke with the hospital psychiatrist. They said you might be experiencing paranoid delusions." My heart sank. They'd gotten to him first. "Daniel, that wasn't a real psychiatrist. It's part of their plan. I'm with Dr. Brooks right now. He has proof. Please meet us at the back parking lot in 15 minutes. A loud knock interrupted the call. "Nurse Harper, hospital security, open up." "Daniel, I have to go. Please trust me. Back parking lot, 15 minutes. I hung up before he could answer. Dr. Brooks motioned for us to move. Lisa led us through a side door into a narrow service hallway. "I'll buy you some time," Dr. Brooks said, straightening his coat. "Stay safe." As we slipped through the back exit, I heard Dr. Brooks opening the main door to stall Harper and security. Lisa guided us down a shadowy stairwell. Each step was agony for my body, still raw from giving birth, but fear pushed me forward. "I'm scared," Isla whispered, clutching my hand. "I know, sweetheart," I reassured her. "But we're a family." We'll get through this together." The basement was cold and eerily quiet. Machinery hummed in the distance. Lisa led us through a labyrinth of pipes and equipment toward the technical exit. "Almost there," she whispered. "We just have to pass the cold storage room." As we turned a corner, a chilling voice rang out behind us. "You're not going anywhere." We turned and saw Olivia holding what looked like a stun gun. My blood ran cold. "How did you find us?" I demanded, stepping protectively in front of Isla and the baby. Olivia smirked. "Your phone. Daniel isn't the only one with access to the family account." She turned to Lisa. "And you, little nurse, were foolish to think you could interfere." Lisa stood tall. "I won't let you hurt my patient." "Touching," Olivia sneered, "but no one's going to stop me now. I've waited too long to reclaim what's mine." "Nothing belongs to you," I snapped. "The family inheritance belongs to Daniel." "My father promised it to me," Olivia roared. "But then Daniel became the golden boy, the engineer with a bright future, and my father changed the will at the last minute. I got scraps while Daniel got everything." I shook my head, disgusted by her greed and hatred. "And for that you'd kill me and an innocent newborn?" "Not just for money," she hissed. "For every year I lived in his shadow, for every time I was second best. And then he brings you, young, beautiful, into our lives. I've had enough." We were trapped. Behind us was a long hallway. In front of us, Olivia and her weapon. My baby stirred in my arms and began to whimper, sensing the tension. Right then, my phone buzzed again. Another message from the unknown number. "Run to the rooftop. Someone will help." I glanced at it quickly, careful not to tip off Olivia. "Olivia, you won't get away with this," I said, trying to buy time, signaling Lisa and Isla about the message. "Dr. Brooks has evidence. The police will find out." "Brooks won't be a problem much longer," Olivia sneered. "Harper is taking care of him as we speak. Once I'm done here, there'll be no one left to stop me." A loud crash echoed from down the hall, like a tray of metal instruments hitting the floor. Olivia flinched. "Run!" I shouted, grabbing Isla's hand and bolting toward the emergency stairs while Lisa moved to block Olivia. We sprinted up the metal staircase, my stitches screaming in protest, but adrenaline kept me moving. "To the rooftop!" I panted to Isla. "Someone's waiting for us up there." We burst through the rooftop door into the cold night air. The rooftop stretched out before us, covered in vents and machinery. "Now what?" Isla cried, scanning the empty rooftop. I didn't know. Who had sent the messages? Could we trust them? The door behind us slammed open. Olivia appeared, panting, eyes wild. "Nowhere left to run," she growled, stalking toward us. I backed away, shielding Isla and the baby, inching closer to the edge where city lights sparkled far below. "Daniel will never believe you," I said, voice steady. "Even if you kill us, he'll know the truth." "My brother is naive," Olivia scoffed. "He'll believe the story. A depressed, unstable new mother doing the unthinkable. It happens all the time." Suddenly, a voice behind her said, "Not this time, Olivia." We turned to see Daniel, flanked by Dr. Brooks and 2 security guards. "Daniel," Olivia gasped, "you're not supposed to be here." "I suspected you for a long time, Olivia," Daniel said coldly. "Your obsession with the inheritance, your efforts to drive a wedge between me and Sophie. And then, the hospital tech sent me the security footage, you and Harper whispering, tampering with Sophie's drink." "Who?" Olivia stammered. "Who sent it?" Daniel lifted his phone. "The same person who warned Sophie and Dr. Brooks. Someone you never expected." From behind Daniel stepped the head of hospital security, an older man I'd never met. "I've been watching you for some time, Miss Carter," he said. 30 years on this job. I know when something's not right, and I know a family worth protecting when I see one." Olivia stood frozen, unable to speak. "Harper confessed everything," Dr. Brooks added. "She's being detained. The police are on their way." Daniel rushed to me, gathering Isla and me into his arms. "I'm so sorry," he whispered. "I should have seen it. I should have protected you." "Is the baby okay?" he asked, gazing at our tiny daughter sleeping peacefully. I nodded, tears streaming down my face. "She's safe. We're all safe now." Olivia stared at us, her face twisted in rage and despair. Suddenly, she lunged forward, reaching for the baby. "No!" Isla screamed, bravely stepping between us. But before Olivia could get any closer, the security guards tackled her, forcing her to the ground. "Olivia Carter, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder," the chief of security declared as they handcuffed her. As they led her away, Olivia turned back to Daniel. "I'm your sister," she hissed bitterly. "You owe me." Daniel shook his head sadly. "I owe you nothing, Olivia. You tried to kill my wife and daughter. You're no longer my sister." As the rooftop door shut behind her, I clung to my family, Daniel, Isla, and our newborn, under the starlit sky, finally breathing freely. "You saved us," I whispered to Isla, kissing her forehead. "You're a true hero." Isla beamed, tears glistening in her eyes. "We're a family, right, Mom?" "That's right," I said, squeezing Daniel's hand. "Nothing can break us apart." Dr. Brooks approached, smiling warmly. "Let's get you and the baby checked out. It's been a long, hard night." As we walked back inside, I looked up at the endless, brilliant sky. An hour ago, I thought I'd never see the stars again. Now, the future gleamed with hope. "Thank you," I whispered to the head of security, the man who had secretly protected us. He smiled kindly. "You don't see a real family every day. When you do, you fight to protect it." That night, as I lay in a new hospital room, Daniel dozing in the chair beside me, Isla curled up on the guest bed, I whispered to my newborn daughter, "Mommy will always protect you. We'll always protect each other." Sometimes it's in our darkest battles that we find our greatest strength. And sometimes family isn't just the people you share blood with, it's the ones who would fight to the end to keep you safe. I thought we were safe that night, thought that with Olivia and Harper arrested, the nightmare had ended. But fate had different plans for us. At 3 a.m, Dr. Brooks burst into our room, his face pale. "You have to leave now. Harper escaped while being transferred to police custody." Daniel jolted awake, instantly alert. "Where could she be?" "We don't know," Dr. Brooks said, shaking his head, "but security cameras show her heading toward the patient wing. I don't think it's a coincidence." Panic surged through me again. My body was exhausted after childbirth, but survival instincts took over. "Daniel, wake Isla," I whispered, lifting our newborn daughter from the hospital bassinet. "We need to leave right now." Isla woke instantly, her face showing she understood the danger. "Harper escaped, didn't she?" she asked, her voice trembling. Dr. Brooks nodded, handing me a small bag. "Painkillers and bandages. You'll need them, and here." He pressed a car key into Daniel's hand. "The key to my car. It's in parking lot B, level 2, blue Toyota Camry." "What about you?" Daniel asked. "I'll stay and do my duty, Doctor," Brooks replied. "Now go! Quickly!" I threw on a hospital robe, clutching my newborn close. She was only 3 days old, far too tiny to be caught in the middle of all this. Daniel led the way, Isla holding tightly onto my side. "Which way?" I asked quietly. "Service elevator," Dr. Brooks pointed. "It leads directly to the parking garage. Chief Security Officer Mark will meet you there." We slipped into the darkened hallway. The hospital at this hour was hauntingly silent. Dim lights, casting eerie shadows. The occasional beep of distant machines. "Hurry," Mark whispered when we met him at the end of the hall. I checked the cameras. Harper's on the 3rd floor, heading up. My heart pounded. We hurried after Mark to the service elevator. Just as the doors closed, I caught a glimpse of Harper's disheveled figure appearing at the end of the corridor. "She saw us," I gasped, clutching my baby tighter. "Doesn't matter," Mark reassured. "We'll reach the garage before she catches up." The elevator moved agonizingly slowly. I could feel my heartbeat in my ears, hear Isla's shaky breathing. She was so brave, so mature for her 12 years. "Mommy," Isla whispered, "is the baby okay?" I looked down at my newborn's peaceful face. "She's okay," I smiled weakly. "Strong, just like her big sister." The elevator dinged and opened onto the parking garage's second level. Mark cautiously peeked outside. "All clear. Move quickly," he said. We rushed after him between rows of silent cars. Every step was agony for my recovering body. "There," Daniel pointed, "Dr. Brooks' car." Just as we neared it, the elevator behind us dinged again. We turned and saw Harper burst out, wild-eyed, hair a tangled mess. "Run!" Mark shouted. "I'll hold her off!" Daniel fumbled with the car keys, ushering Isla and me into the vehicle. I heard the sounds of a struggle, shouts, a scuffle. "Daniel, hurry!" I cried as he slid into the driver's seat. As he started the car, a gunshot rang out, followed by a pained scream. I looked back and saw Mark fall, clutching his chest. "Oh my God!" I gasped. "She has a gun!" Daniel slammed the accelerator. The car lurched forward toward the exit. In the rearview mirror, Harper was chasing after us, gun raised. "Get down!" Daniel shouted as a bullet shattered the back window. I ducked, shielding the baby and pulling Isla down with me. 2 more shots rang out as Daniel swerved through the garage exit. "Call the police!" Daniel barked as he sped onto Riverside Avenue. Hands shaking, I dialed 911. "Please, help!" I pleaded. "We're being chased. A nurse named Harper from Memorial Hospital is trying to kill us. She shot a security officer." "We're dispatching patrol units to your location," the operator replied. "Where are you?" "Heading south on Riverside," Daniel answered when I passed him the phone. "Keep moving. Don't stop until you see our units. I'll stay on the line," she instructed. Daniel sped through the empty streets, the speedometer climbing over 60 miles per hour. I didn't dare look back, terrified of seeing Harper gaining on us. "Mom, look!" Isla cried, pointing to the rearview mirror. A black sedan loomed behind us, headlights glaring. "Where did she get a car?" I whispered. "She must have stolen one from the garage," Daniel gritted out, swerving hard into a side street. The baby wailed from the sudden movement, her cries slicing through the tension. "Sophie, can you calm her?" Daniel asked, eyes locked on the road. I cradled my daughter close, rocking her gently. "Shh, baby, Mommy's here. Mommy won't let anything happen to you." "There!" Daniel shouted, spotting flashing red and blue lights up ahead. "Police!" 2 patrol cars blocked the road, emergency lights painting the night in brilliant color. Relief flooded through me. "Behind us," Isla said fearfully. The black sedan slowed, then veered off onto a side street, disappearing into the night. "She's running," I exhaled shakily. Daniel slowed down as we approached the officers. One waved us over. "Miller family?" he asked as Daniel lowered the window. "Yes," Daniel confirmed. "My wife, our daughter, and our newborn? Harper was chasing us but fled down that street." The officer nodded. "We've received the hospital's alert. A security officer was shot but will recover. You're safe now." Tears streamed down my face. "Thank God." "Follow us," he instructed. "We'll escort you to a safe location." As we drove behind the police convoy, I felt like we had escaped a nightmare. I looked at my sleeping baby, at Isla leaning against me, utterly spent. "You're so brave," I whispered, kissing Isla's forehead. "I was scared," she admitted. "But I was more scared of losing you and the baby." Daniel reached over and squeezed my hand. "We're going to be okay. I promise." "Where will we go now?" I asked. "We can't go home. Harper knows where we live." "The police have a safe house," Daniel said. We'll stay there until it's safe." I nodded, exhaustion weighing me down. 3 days ago, I had been a woman, simply waiting to welcome my first child. Now, I was a mother, fighting to keep her family alive. We arrived at a small, secure house on the outskirts of town, surrounded by a tall fence and guarded entrance. Officers led us inside. A simple but warm refuge. "You'll be safe here," Officer Rodriguez said. "We have 24/7 security. No one gets close without permission." As we stepped inside, a strange sense of peace washed over me, like we'd found an island after a storm. "Mommy, I'm so tired," Isla mumbled, her eyelids heavy. "Go to sleep, sweetheart," I said, guiding her into a small room with twin beds. "I'll be right here with the baby." Once Isla was tucked in, I sat on the bed, stroking her hair. "You know what, Isla? You're the bravest person I know." "Really?" she asked sleepily. "Really?" I said, my heart swelling with love. "Without you, the baby and I wouldn't be here. You saved us." She smiled, eyes fluttering closed. "Love you, Mom." "Love you too, my brave girl," I whispered, tears burning my eyes. In the living room, Daniel was quietly talking with the officers. When I joined him, he looked up, his eyes red with exhaustion. "You and the girls okay?" he asked. I nodded, sinking beside him, still cradling our newborn. Officer Rodriguez handed me a cup of tea. "You might need this. It's been a tough night." "Thank you," I said gratefully. "So, what happens now?" "We have a warrant out for Harper. Olivia Carter has been arrested and faces serious charges. You'll need to stay here for a few days until we can guarantee your safety," she explained. Daniel squeezed my hand. "We're in this together. Always." Through the window, I saw the first light of dawn breaking through the darkness. A new day, a new beginning. I looked down at my sleeping newborn, too small to comprehend the dangers we had faced, then at Isla, who had saved us more times than I could count. "We'll be okay," I whispered, half to Daniel, half to myself. "We're a family, and nothing can tear us apart." I didn't know what the future would bring, whether Harper would be caught, when we could return to normal life. But I knew one thing for certain: love and courage had brought us this far, and they would carry us through whatever lay ahead. In the darkest night, we found our brightest stars, and my family, with all its scars and strength, were the brightest stars of all. From betrayal to bravery, from near death to a new beginning. Sophie's story reminds us, family isn't just about blood, it's about who shows up when everything falls apart. If this story moved you, tell us in the comments below. Have you ever been saved by someone unexpected? Like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, because next week we'll bring you another powerful story about love, resilience, and the bonds that can never be broken. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next chapter.